Welcome to the ADP trade room. Oops. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember all trades are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures, so please trade carefully. And we are going to get started. Whoa. All right, look at gold. Look at gold. Let me see. I don't see any news in the last minute that would have caused that. So we're going to have to be careful this morning. We have half an hour. We need the market to calm down. That is not a normal behavior. 1945, 26. It's almost $20 move in gold. Let me make sure I'm calculating right. 1945, 1925, very close. Okay, we're going to be very careful. You've got, today may just be a day that you don't trade, all right? First off, I did not see any emails about margins. You should check with your broker about margins. They were higher last night, and my guess is they have not restored them to normalcy. So it just might be that if you're going to even trade this morning, you want to trade quite conservatively. You have two major things going on. You've got the electoral college voting, or the counting of the votes. The voting's done, and you've got a rally in DC, and you've got, of course, the Georgia elections. One Democrat has won. Another one it's razor thin on that second election. So I don't know if the market is. I didn't see any new election news that might have caused that spike in gold. Anybody who has anything that they want to say, who thinks they might know why gold spiked, of course, I'm always willing to hear what you have to say. So don't be shy about saying something in the room. Now, gold opens at 820, so it's not the open. So it's an unknown, honestly, what caused that at this moment for me. Right now, it's an unknown. I don't know what caused that. But it gets my radar up, okay? It gets my radar up. Hold on. I mean, mortgage applications fell. Hold it. So there was a big difference in the amount of buyers in the housing market, but it's also the holidays. Um, it could be interest rate issues and things of that sort. So right now, gold, it's calmed down quite a bit since that move. So let's look at last month's report. I mean, these are things you look at, and You don't want to let the market scare you out of trading, but if that would have happened 1 minute before the trade, I would not have traded. I just wouldn't. Okay, because that's called a, my boss calls it a trigger. If you read the reports, on the reports, it might say something like a trigger to cancel or a tripwire to cancel, which is just a fancy way of saying a cancel, a good reason to cancel. All right. So, I mean, this was December, and you can see there's certainly a lot of gold volatility before December's trade. And that's why we look at the previous reports. And in December, hold on, December worked very nicely. Okay, so you could see that December was a good report. November, it's an 8:15 report. And we canceled in November. I'm trying to think why I canceled that. Let's see. I'm not really sure. Maybe because there was no move. That was just premature cancel. Should not have been canceled. I don't see a reason. You know, I could put the audio on. Let me hear if I can tell why I did what I did. I don't think you'll hear the audio. And I may not have recorded audio because I don't hear anything. So I'd have to go to a different video. Something made me uncomfortable in that trade. Maybe the news being late. That's what it was. The news was very late, 20 seconds late. The news was 20 seconds late. So that's why I canceled. Okay, that's a totally valid reason for canceling. Totally valid. Okay. If news is late and we know the news is late, that is a valid reason to cancel. Okay. We want the news to come out on time. That's important to us. We want the news to come out on time because we're trading based on time. Jaquan, you have to send us, do not put it in the window here. Email help at 10-minute trades, your machine ID, not the license, but the machine ID. It's under help. It's under help in the control panel. Okay. Send an email to help at 10minutetrades.com. Help at 10minutetrades.com. All right, let's look at the report, see what the report says. So here's where a lack of communication between my boss and me creates what I think is an incorrect entry in the journal. I may not have told him that the news was late, and that's why it was not a winner. Okay. So you got to keep that in mind. It did work. The report did work. But the news was rather late. So I'm not sure. I don't know if I agree that it was the election that caused that muted reaction. I think it was more possibly that the news was late. But those are things open to discussion. September, here's September. And you have volatility before this report. It's pretty normal. And you could see it shot right through. Okay. It shot right through. And let's look at August. I want to look at the stop. One of the trades was a stop. So August, there's the brackets. So August did not want to follow through. The ES had quite a move, quite a good move on the ES, and then it did follow through. So you sort of want to try and be patient on this report. One of the reports was a stop, and let me just see which one that was. September. Why did we have a win in September? We couldn't have. September. So there's August. And here's September. I think he made a mistake. I think he just made an error. September's a winner. So let me check. Oh, maybe he got one of the Septembers wrong. 9:30. There were two trades in September last 9/2 and 9:30. So wait, this is 9/2. I need 9:30. Ah, that's probably what happened. We looked at the wrong video by accident. Here's 9:30. All right, so here's 9:30. And yeah, this is the one that stopped out. It went up, filled us, reversed, and stopped out rather not that quickly, but you didn't really have a good opportunity to get out with a profit. And it just by bad luck, it filled us on the wrong side. The news was very good, but it really didn't have a good reaction. It didn't have a normal reaction. So it was very hard to get out of that trade without a loss. Couldn't get out. So most of the ADPs have been good trades. They have been good, solid trades. I'm looking at the ES on the right. So looking at the ES on the right. So how would I trade this? How would I trade this? We had a big gold spike before the report, and now gold is acting very normally, right? The news is acting very normally. All right, Jaquan, I'll get it. I don't do the activations, so I just send them out. It should get done today. Usually it's 24 to 48 hours, but usually it's 24. So here's what I would consider. It's the first week since we're back, and markets are trading okay. Now there is this volatility. There is this volatility that it makes you a little bit concerned, and then the market calms down quite a bit. So normally I would trade this bigger than normal. Um, first week of the month, of the first week of the year, I like to trade at least one extra contract on this report. So we're risking 12 ticks per contract. That's $120. So, with liquidity with gold, you could wind up losing 15 ticks per contract. And the other issue is AMP's margins. So I'm just looking to see if there's any notices. I didn't get an email from AMP. It seems like margins are back to normal. That's what it seems like. I don't see any emails anywhere. Normally, they would send an email that they're back to normal. So I'm going to assume margins are higher. It's always best to assume what was rather than what you don't know 100%. So last night they sent a temporary margin notice, but actually it didn't have anything to do with gold. So and AMP's day trade on gold is 2,500 per contract. ES margin is higher. Juan with who? With who? With who? So I'm going to trade because of all the things going on in the markets today. Why can't you trade the minis? I'm just curious why you can't trade the minis. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to trade minis if you wanted to. Or micros, I assume is what you mean. I'm assuming you mean micros. So I'm going to trade the DMM exactly this morning, which means conservatively, because honestly, because the market, the elections, the markets, futures margins being raised, I just think it's a wise. It might be smarter to be conservative today. So I'm looking for 7 ticks and 15 ticks and a stop of 12 ticks. My bracket is 6. My entry time is 8:14:58. 8:14:58. Breakout trade. Trading real money. I like to label the trade like you always see that I do in the morning or any day, any time of day. And that sets up my trade. It's a breakout trade. I'm trading one contract. Calvin, that's not funny. So trading one contract for 7 ticks, one contract for 13 ticks, and a stop at 12. Watching the ES on the right, putting my charts on live. Now let me make the right connection. So I'm trading the right account. Okay, so I'll double check my trade because I changed accounts. So if I highlight my trade, I have a bracket of 6, one target. One target of 7 ticks, like the report says, one target of 15 ticks. Large market moves are possible today, Calvin. The problem is you never know because of the way we trade. We don't stay in the, we don't stay in the trade room all day. 8:14:58 is my entry time, 2 seconds. And then there's the account that I'm going to trade. I'm labeling it GC ADP. Gold's pretty volatile. And we've seen that in prior reports. Going to check my sync. Entry time, Steve. Steve, don't get confused on a breakout trade. All you have to worry about is entry time. Entry time. That's all you have to worry about. Entry time. entry time. I'm checking my sync by going to the website time.is, okay? And my time is exact. I went to the website time.is. Time.is. I click on it and it puts my computer in sync. Now, I will say that this is volatility, folks. You've got volatility. So what I would like to see is the market to be exactly like it is now before the trade, not like this crazy candle, right? That crazy candle is assuming the crazy candle assumes that the news is going to be bad, okay? Gold normally goes up when news is bad. So they're only expecting 88,000 new payrolls. They're just expecting 88,000. So I'm just listening to the news too. There'll probably be recounts on the elections because they're close. The history of recounts is they don't seem to change elections. So I think that recounts don't generally change elections. And you know, in Georgia, Paul, we did send out the DMM yesterday. It gets sent out the day before. Take a look in your spam folder, and why can't you download it? Right now, it's too close to the trade, Paul, so we'll deal with it after the trade. But I send it out every day. Yesterday, it went out about 1:30. Check your spam folder. Check your spam folder. See if it's in there. And do me a favor, send me an email, help@10minutetrades.com, and I'll just check your access. Calvin, you should check your spam folder too. Sometimes ISPs block our emails, folks. There's nothing I can do about it if that happens. Sometimes ISPs block our emails. That's why we want you to be able to download them. I can't do the settings now. It's too close to the trade, Steve. Sorry. I'm doing one target of 7 ticks, one target of 15, exactly like the so folks, I have my finger on the cancel button this morning. My finger is on the cancel button. You too, Patrick. So my worry is that I'm really thinking gold might just be too volatile. You know, we get scared. Sometimes the market scares you out of a trade, and you have to live with that. Okay, right now it's behaving. So the reason I did that, folks, is I don't know if the news came out. So we got filled, and I'm extremely concerned the news did not come out. It did come out. So look, I just protected my profit because I didn't like the response. And I might do that all week. If this whole week is wacky, I mean, that market was probably should have been a canceled trade. I don't want to cancel I want to show Steve the settings. Um, that was a very abnormal reaction, and you have to qualify that because of today's markets. That's a gift that you didn't get stopped out. The entry time, what I should have considered, a couple of things to consider, but it wouldn't have mattered. Look at the way the market's just chopping around. This was an ADP report that just was not a perfect reaction. One, very good trade, one contract. I basically just got 8 ticks. I got my first target. We can watch the video. Steve, you wanted to see the setup. I can still show you the setup. The setup was a bracket of 6. Then you can skip down to position size. One target of 7 ticks, one target of 15 ticks, a stop of 12, just like the report. But you could see the news is coming out very late, very late. So I'm not sure we even traded the news. I think we might have just traded gold volatility. And then the time, Steve, entry time, 8:14:58. You don't have to worry about unattended. We're not trading unattended right now. That's if you want to set up a trade for tomorrow. Okay. We're going to have a webinar because there's so many new people. Um, Maybe next week we'll have an internal webinar just for us. Okay. And we'll just go over setting up the software for everybody. Steve, don't forget that you've got the quick start videos on the website that you can watch. Quick start videos on the website. And then I just chose the account and I labeled the trade. All right. Now let's watch the video. I think we just got lucky. It was a weird market, ultra volatility, probably shouldn't have been traded. Hey, Steve, it's just a question of getting used to it. As you do this every day, you'll get good at it. So don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. When I first started, I was really slow. And when I first worked in the trade room, oh man, I was a wreck. I was a nervous wreck. Let's look at the video and I'll answer people's questions about the reports. So we have problems sometimes with the ISP. Sometimes they don't send our reports. Sometimes, sometimes in the past, you have also unsubscribed to our emails. And that might be why you're not getting our emails also. It's possible. So send me an email if you're not getting the reports. help@10minutetrades.com. Ludovic, remember you were going to check your fills? Ludovic, you're going to check your fills? I was filled at 1943.30. 1943.30. Okay? 1943.30. Yep, Steve, what Brian's saying is true. Practice using market replay in NT7. Unfortunately, replay in NT8 doesn't work well. Ludovic, what was your fill? 70? That's way better than yesterday, Ludovic. On gold, that's acceptable. Now, it wouldn't have been that great for this report because it didn't go very far, you know? But that's nobody's fault, right? That's just, this was a report that didn't act well. The job numbers were terrible. Gold should have burst up. It didn't. It went up, but it didn't burst. Let's take a look at the video while we're here. Okay, that's one of the things we want to do. We want to learn. Let's look at the video and analyze it. And then we'll be back for oil, right? Let me look at the schedule. Give me a second. How do you make it show the details of the entry and exit? Oh, right-click your chart. Right-click your chart. It's called text and markers. Right-click your chart. How do you make it show the orders? Click on data series. Data series. Scroll down and see where it says down at the bottom under trades, it says plot executions. Make sure it's set to text and marker. Text and marker. That shows you the text, the order, and the marker, the little arrow. So right-click the chart, click data series, go down to the bottom, plot executions, text and marker. And that'll show your orders. Otherwise, you won't see the orders. You won't see anything, okay? I'm going to put my chart, I'm going to take a picture like I always do. Look, a profit's a profit. It's not a big profit, but we've made 280 in the last 2 days, 3 days, or in the last 3 trades. So it adds up. You're not always going to have big winners. And it's nobody's fault. You know, it's nobody's fault. The market moves the way it moves. We can't control it, right? We can't control it. So if you only made $80, you're not going to go cry in a corner, right? You're just going to realize, okay, I didn't have an opportunity. And I'm happy I made the 80. I was happy that I didn't get stopped out on that trade. That trade probably shouldn't have been traded. Look at the volatility before the trade. It was wild. And then, again, after we were checking margins, there was a big volatility candle. Look at that. That, you know, it's far from the trade. It was 7 minutes. That's why I didn't cancel the trade. If it was 1 minute, I might have canceled the trade. And the candles got quiet. So I try never to let the market scare me out of good trades. This is historically one of our best trades. Now it got very nerve-wracking again. Nobody would have thought you were a chicken for canceling this trade. this trade was volatile. Green is green, Wally. I agree. Green is green. It's good to make good victories. There was just no opportunity here. It went up and the news wasn't out. So I was definitely going to protect my profit. And then it did move as if there was news. If you watch the video, it does look like it moves after the news. But with all the volatility today, and just look, I kind of told everybody, my biggest trading issue is I get out of trades too soon. But the market was so volatile. Being just able to trade this trade, I think, was a victory. That was psychologically extremely difficult trade to trade. And, that's a factor. Everybody, just because I'm the moderator doesn't mean I don't have the same fears and worries that everybody else has. I do. I hide them, because I can talk while I'm trading, I can laugh while I'm trading. But of course, I'm still worried about the same things you all are worried about. KW, I move my stop manually just out of habit instead of using the break even button. The break even button, if you get caught in a situation with the break even button where where you're not seeing the price with the naked eye, the break even button might not work if the price is slightly negative. So KW, it's just habit that I do it manually, but you could certainly use the break even button. And KW, you could do it another way also. You could use target one stop move, right? Do you remember what that does? If you know you have a volatile trade that reverses a lot, yeah, so you know what I mean. You can, if you know you have a trade that reverses a lot, if it hits the first target, you could program target one stop move to break even +1, right? +1. And then if it pulls back, the stop, and it hits your first target and then pulls back, the stop will have moved to break even +1. Now, sometimes in super fast trades, automation can cause problems because sometimes the market moves so fast, the software doesn't keep up. So on super fast trades, and ADP probably is not a super fast trade. I mean, sometimes it's fast, but it's not like oil. I don't usually automate much with oil because the automation can sometimes get in the way of the trade. Can you post the link in here, psychology? Absolutely, Steve. Yes. How do you load the time is clock into the platform? Jaquan, you know what you're thinking? It's the browser that I'm using. I'm using Opera, which most people laugh at me. Opera, let me put my charts on Sim. Opera lets you, most browsers let you do what Opera does. It lets me add a site to the browser. See, add a site. And I click on add a site and I would just type time.is. Now you should be able to do it with your browser also. Okay. Your browser, most browsers will let you do that. Liz, Opera is old. Opera's old, but they've been updating it. It's not like they're not updating it. They update it regularly. But there are a bunch of programs where the companies tell you don't use Opera. They don't like it. There are programs that don't work with Opera or websites that don't do well with Opera. And it's probably because it's so old. So today's rest of the schedule, folks, we'll be back at 10 for crude, okay? We'll be back at 10 for crude. We'll be back in the room. All right? I like Opera, Ludovic. I've always been very happy with it. I'm not a Chrome lover. I'm not a Chrome lover. But, you know, everybody has different tastes for everything. Any questions before we go? Any questions? I mean, if you like Chrome, use it. You know, with trading especially, you want to be comfortable. I mean, the most important thing, be comfortable, right? Jaquan, all you have to do is click the website and go there, and it puts you in sync. If it doesn't put you in sync, which sometimes it won't, then you need another tool, a different tool like Dimension 4. If you go to the file, the room drive at the top of the trade room, there's this room drive. Inside that folder is a program called Dimension 4, Jaquan, that you can download. That program also puts you in sync, and it works really well. It works great, in fact. Okay. I've got some of my songs in there too. All right. Everybody good? We'll be back at 10 for crude. Not sure what I'm going to do with crude today. We'll see. Crude, I always decide at the last minute. And then we have the FOMC minutes. Those are our 3 trades for today. 3 rooms. Okay. So I'll see everybody at 10. I'll see everybody later. You're welcome, Steve. So hang in there. Hang in there and just, you'll see, you'll get better and better as time goes on. You're welcome, Juan. So I'll see everybody later. If you made money, send me a picture. Send me a picture if you made money live. It's got to be live. All right. Don't worry if you weren't live. It's okay. Practice in sim for a month. That's what I would do. Practice in sim. Make sure you're comfortable. You want to be comfortable. You're talking money. Your money. You want to protect it. Protect it. All right, folks. Yes, Juan, I thought yours was live. I thought it was live. Nice trade. Okay, folks, I'll see everybody at 10. See you at 10.